I'd like to call this meeting, the Show Low City Council, to order, show that all council members are present. Here in a second, we'll even have the vice mayor. Tonight, I've asked Councilman Whipple to lead us in the invocation, followed by myself to lead us in the pledge. If you'd all like to stand and join us, you may do so.
Our dear Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee this night, we are grateful for the opportunity that we have to meet as a city council. We are grateful for the time and effort that has gone into making this meeting a possibility. We're also grateful for the great citizens that we have the opportunity to serve. At this time, we ask Thee to please bless us to have a productive meeting, that we can make good choices. We also ask Thee to help us to receive the moisture that we stand in need of. And these things we pray for in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Whipple. Next item on the agenda is call to the public. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Any citizen desiring to speak on a matter that is within the jurisdiction of City Council may do so at this time. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person and shall be addressed to the City Council as a whole and not any individual member. Issues raised shall be limited to those within the jurisdiction of City Council. Pursuant to the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the City Council cannot discuss or act on items presented at this time. At the conclusion of the call to the public, individual City Council members may respond to criticism made by those who have spoken, ask staff to review the matter, or ask that the matter be put on a future agenda.
Thank you. I do have one. Mr. Roberts, thank you for sitting up in front.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm here to remind everybody that we'll be having the annual Cruising the Rim Car Show. It'll be 1 month from now. It'll be on June 6th is the actual car show. June 5th is our cruise the night before that runs from the church across the street from the Circle K over the Hatch Toyota for the Burger Burn. So we'll be leaving the church parking lot at 5:30 and running over to Hatch Toyota, and we anticipate probably having about 150 cars of all special interest cars and classics that will drive that route from the church to Hatch Toyota for a Burger Burn. And Hatch Toyota is sponsoring the Burger Burn that night. They do a great job every year of putting on a Burger Burn that attracts a lot of people. They feed a lot of people. It'll be free to the public. Everybody is invited. All of the public is invited to show up there at 6 o'clock at Hatch Toyota for the Burger Burn. And then the next day, on June 6th, at the Frontier Fields, which is right here downtown, we will have the actual car show. We anticipate 200 cars plus in attendance, and it's always a great turnout. We have 4,000 to 5,000 people that come through and see all the cars, and everybody has a good time. And we're greatly appreciative to the city for allowing us to use the field and providing services that help us to put that show on. We believe it's a good draw for the city and for people in the city to have the recreation of coming to the Frontier Fields and enjoying all the activities for that day. So I especially want to thank the mayor and the council, the administration, and Public Works, and the police department, because everybody participates in helping us put that wonderful show on. So that will be June 5th for the cruise and June 6th for the car show. We have City of Show Low Rodeo, the junior rodeo, that same evening, on Friday evening. But that should not be in any kind of conflict. We'll have, different locations and different audiences, and should be a good time for everybody at both locations. And then again on Saturday as well, the rodeo over at the Linden Valley Arena will be later in the day and in the evening, and so our car show will be earlier. So there shouldn't be any conflict or interaction. So again, we appreciate everybody's participation, and thank you very much.
You, Doug, appreciate it. It's a lot of work putting that car show on. You guys do a great job. Okay, next item on the agenda under special events, we're going to move some things around, and we're going to start with presentation by the Show High School robotic team.
This is Sholo High School robotics team. They're here to present an overview of their year.
Hello, my name is Evan Dorrell. I'm the previous president of the Sholo High School robotics team. I've served on the team for the last 6 years, and as president for the last 2 years. We're here to give you an overview of our year and talk a little bit about what we do in our community.
Hello, my name is Summer Huggins, and I've been on this robotics team for 2 years. I've been a leader for this past year, and I would like to talk to you guys about fundraising. We normally go out to our local businesses since we are a very rural area and we do not have the bigger companies to sponsor us. We will call them, give them information, tell them where their funds are going to, and how our robot will work for their funds. And we've also done several concessions nights for our school, which involves volleyball games, basketball games, and football games. And I would like to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Standard Electric, AC/DC, Hamilton Design, and the House in our school district for supporting us.
Hello, my name is Chance Hernandez. I've been on the robotics team for about 2 years. I am the current programming lead, and today I'd like to talk to you about some tournaments that we've competed in and some awards that we've won. The first one is the Fink Award, which we won in Flagstaff by demonstrating our ingenuitive design through our engineering notebook that was reviewed by a panel of judges. The next one is the Sustain Award, which we won by demonstrating our ability to keep our team alive and going even after our seniors graduate, also through the engineering notebook. And the last one is the Connect Award, which we won in the Phoenix tournament. We won that by demonstrating our ability to communicate and work with other teams, our sponsors, and our community.
Hello, my name is Nathan McDowell. I've been on this robotics team for 3 years. I've been a leader for the past 2, and I'm this next year's president. Today I'd like to talk to you about our Skills USA events. This year we have attended 3 Skills USA events. 2 of them were leadership camp, or we went to a leadership conference and a leadership camp. Both of these events taught our leaders the skills they need to effectively and efficiently run our team. Our whole team also went on a Skills USA skills conference where they got to showcase the skills that they have learned with our robotics team in competitions of their choice, including technical drafting, additive manufacturing, mobile robotics, engineering, technological design, and computer programming.
Hello, my name is Coy Benedum. I've been on the robotics team for 3 years. I've been a team lead for 1, and I'm this next upcoming year vice president. I'd like to talk to you about teamwork and our amazing coaches. Our team likes to pride itself on our teamwork. We accomplish this by splitting the 6 different sub-teams to simplify the decision-making process and save time. But we cannot do this without our amazing coaches. Mr. Gillespie for engineering, Mr. Newby for coding, Ms. Golson for media and outreach, and we cannot do this without them. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Natalia Dorrell. I've been on the team for 2 years, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the college tours that we've been on. We've been to several college tours such as EAC, UTI, ASU West, NAU, and Embry-Riddle. These college tours helps our team decide, each individual of our team decide what they want to do with their future and how to accomplish it.
Hello, I am Draven Trainer. I have been on a robotics team for 3 years. I'm a next year team lead, and field trips on this robotics team have provided so many learning opportunities for each one of our members that they would have never experienced outside of robotics. On these field trips, we've gone to places like Pima Air and Space Museum, Colossal Caverns, Odyssey Sea Life Aquarium, the Phoenix Zoo, and the Arizona Science Center. We also provide members fun physical activity at places like Jake's Unlimited, Starlight Lane, and Get Air Trampoline Park.
Hello, my name is Matthew Gross, and I've been on the robotics team for 4 years, and I'm a graduating senior, and I was a former leader. And how robotics helped me was when I first joined, I had no engineering skills. So when I joined the engineering part, I learned how to use the mill, lathe, CNC, which really helped me in my future career. And I had no confidence in talking to people, but that really helped me with meeting new people. And when I started being a leader my junior year, I did not have the confidence that I felt like I was being a good leader. But over the years, I got that confidence to be a good leader. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Evan Dorrell. As I said before, I've been on the team for the last 6 years. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the last 6 years that I've participated in this program have been by far the most formative years of my life. I entered with no concrete idea of what I wanted to do after high school, but this program has really shown me pathways for pursuing a higher education as well as for pursuing a career in engineering after college and high school. My life is forever changed by this program and the amazing people that make it all possible.
Here's the guy with the muscles.
I was going to ask how heavy that is.
Hello, my name is Elijah Gillespie. I have been on one of our robotics teams for around 7 years, and this is...
Hello, I am Joshua Houston. I've been on the robotics team for 7 years as well.
Today I will be talking to you about the robot we made this season. Our robot was made with a prototype-driven design process, and where we started on a robot was our base. The base of our robot consists of 4 plates, 2 plexiglass on the outer, and 2 inner aluminum plates held together by aluminum shafts that we milled. And after that, we put on the Mechanum wheels. These Mechanum wheels are different than normal wheels because they allow us to go sideways and diagonal, and it's really nice when you're driving. When we finished our base, we went on to our intake. Our intake is powered by a motor that connects to a bunch of compliant wheels, which are very good for getting grip on our game elements, these purple balls and green balls. When you look at the side of it, there is a chain, and this chain leads to a rubber band wheel up here, and that helps us align the game elements to get ready to go into sorter. Our sorter is the next part, one of the most difficult. It consists of an outer shell that just holds the game elements in place, and an inner spinner that color sorts them with the help of the color sensor and orientates them into the correct position to go to the kicker. The kicker is made out of steel, and it is very durable. When the balls are orientated, it will kick them into the shooter. Our shooter was one of our hardest parts to make, and it was 3D printed, like a lot of those things on a robot, very helpful for us. It has 2 motors, and the reason we use 2 instead of 1 is because it helps us to get up to the velocity faster than just 1, and it also saves battery power. The motors run a bunch of flywheels that we decided we didn't want weighted because it just doesn't work sometimes. And then what they do is it just puts the ball into a set angle and launches it very directly into our goal that we have to shoot in. And the very front, you can see this camera-looking thing. That is a Limelight. Limelight can scan QR codes on the goals and anywhere else on the field. It helps ring autonomous, and it helps aligning the robot so the drivers don't have to do as much when driving. It can pretty much tell us when to shoot and where to do it. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please be free to ask us.
Turn it on.
It's on.
There you go. Don't shoot the ball. Because I'm sure I'll hit it, or it'll hit me.
They left the battery back in the classroom.
Oh, that's all right. That's pretty incredible. I can tell you a few years back, I went and watched one of the contests. I think I helped judge or helped out somewhere. And it's incredible to watch these kids build this machine, then take it, put it on a floor at a contest. So it's pretty incredible what they do. Vice Mayor.
Well, from the first time that you all presented to the city council, I can see that your group has grown exponentially. I'd like to know how many of you are headed to college based on this program.
We have 4 graduating seniors. Can my graduating seniors step forward? What colleges are you guys going to? Ariana, you just got accepted to where?
Where?
UAT.
UAC.
Embry-Riddle Aerospace.
That's great. Is that because of this program that you're going there?
Absolutely.
Incredible.
That's incredible. Well, we wish you the very best in your future endeavors.
And thank you, coaches. I've seen you around for many years, a few of these students many years, and you guys are doing a great job. But Vice Mayor's right. I think a few years back when I was there, it was like 4 or 5, and now look at you guys grow. So congratulations and keep up the good work. It's amazing to watch these kids build these robots. So if you get a chance, go by the high school, talk to one of the coaches, and go by there and watch, or go to a contest. Anyway, thank you guys very much. Appreciate everything. Congratulations.
Good luck to you all.
Good job on talking. You guys did great. Look at his guns.
Good muscles, too.
Hey, you guys are welcome. You could stay for the whole meeting if you want, but you're welcome to cut out if you want to. Not the rest of you. You have to stay. It's just the ones up front. The council gets up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does that mean us?
All righty, next item on the agenda is recognition of Show Low High School state champion wrestlers. If I could have the coaches come up and bring your champions and give us a story of what happened this year. That's what these are for.
Talking to me.
You want to do? Looks like more of a basketball player to me. I'm sorry, but.
Mayor, council, we'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and to recognize these guys and their accomplishment and successes this year. So we were able to have 3 state champions on the wrestling program this year. The first one is Dallin Rawlings. He's a senior, graduating senior. He was the state champion at 150 pounds with a record of 59-2. So he had an outstanding year. And this one is Dallin. So Ben Frund, he can't be here tonight. He had his tonsils out on Friday, so he is still recuperating. So I talked to his dad right before we came, but he was the state champ at 138 pounds, and his record was 54-9. So he had an outstanding year. He's a junior, so we're expecting to have him back here next year, and you'll be seeing him again. So.
Excellent. And I have Ruthie Wilhelm, 2-time state champion right here. 52-1 this year at 107. That's right. You were 114 for a hot second, weren't you? So her work ethic and study of the sport is absolutely amazing. And it's led her to 2 state championships, and we're hoping for 2 more because she's only a sophomore this year. So.
Well, congratulations, and we do have a little something for you to take back from you, or from us.
So the first one is for Ruthie Wilhelm, 2-time state champ. Good job. Dallin Rawlings, wrestling state champion, 2026. Good job. Ben Front, Coach, if you'll come take that for him. And we wish him a speedy recovery. And then we have Seth McDowell, who is also a state champion.
Seth actually took fourth in state.
Oh, it's close. It's already made. We're not going to take the name off and put yours, so you just take it and give it to him. Congratulations, you guys. Good luck in the future. Appreciate it. What year is Seth in?
He's a senior.
He's a senior? Oh, I was going to say,
Graduating seniors, but our girls' team is bringing back everybody.
wow. Incredible. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Okay, next item on our agenda is recognition of Shobo High School NAVIT state champions. Get the coach to come up and talk about these kids.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor and Council. Thank you for inviting us. The nice thing about this presentation is I am not the shortest welder in the bunch.
Wait a minute.
This is our repeat performance. These young men and young ladies have competed at Skills USA, which is a nationally recognized competition for everybody in the career technical education. These guys are repeat champions. They've won 4 gold medals, regionals twice and state twice. They attended Atlanta, Georgia with me last year, and we're going back this year, and they told me they're going to win gold. And I said, don't tell me, just show me, right? So they've done an excellent job. I would invite you to come down to a Skills USA competition if you ever have the opportunity. It's really amazing to see all the young folks. You know, they work all year and then they go head to head, and it's a pretty inspirational competition that they attend. If you have a chink in your armor, you know, they're going to do math, they're going to do general knowledge for welding, they're going to do blueprint reading, they're going to do the actual welds. If you have something where, you know, you have a deficiency, it's going to show in these competitions. The young lady at the end, Madison, she is my sculpture person this year. We won last year as well. Tabitha won last year and she graduated out. She's now going to a engineering program in Michigan. And so Tabitha stepped up. She competed last year and, you know, she got knocked down a little bit. She didn't make it through regionals, but she didn't quit. And she doubled down and she made a beautiful sculpture and did an awesome job. So very proud. These guys have done a great job. We'll be heading June 6th to Atlanta, Georgia, and we'll see how it goes. So.
Well, congratulations, and we got a little something for each of you too. Appreciate it.
So the first one I have is for Madison Ivins. Dallin Rawlings. Easton Hatch. Owen Hudson.
Thank you guys for recognizing these young folks. The NAVIT program, I don't know if you realize it, but the NAVIT program, these folks are attending high school. Then they come to Northland Pioneer College for half the day, 5 days a week, and they pursue their goals of becoming welders and various folks as whatever they're going to do. But it's pretty amazing to watch. You know, Dallin and his wrestling competitions, we heard about that on a daily basis. And I think Sholo, are you guys, what's your winning score now?
I think we're at 19 in a row, and we just won the first round of playoffs, so we're in the quarterfinals against Northwest Christian.
Yeah, and Cohen and Madison, their families both have local businesses, and to see these young people, you know, give 100%. I mean, I know what I did when I was 18, and it wasn't that, right? So again, very proud of what they've done. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again.
Good job.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You know, probably one of the most exciting things about sitting up here is when we get to bring the youth in our community up and give them awards. I don't know if they did that back in our years at Show High School, but started a good tradition. Thank you guys, and hopefully see you back soon. Except for you seniors, here we'll talk to your parents about what you're doing, right or wrong. So, all righty. Next item on the agenda is presentation regarding wildfire mitigation by APS. Mrs. Dean, welcome back.
Okay. Rachel, do I need, oh, you got it. Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Thank you so much for letting me spend a few minutes with you tonight. I'm Janet Dean. I'm Public Affairs Manager with APS, and I'm here to do our annual presentation to you to remind you what we're doing on our part of kind of firewizing our system to help protect communities in northern Arizona. I also really appreciate your patience. I was supposed to speak to you 2 weeks ago and had to cancel at the last minute, and it has direct bearing on what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So just a quick overview of who we are. I think you all know us. We are the largest electric utility in Arizona. We have 6,000 transmission miles, so that's our high voltage electric lines, and 32,000 of distribution miles, which are our lines that feed communities and homes. We have 1,500 feeders on our system, which are those distribution lines, and 1.4 million meters. So we serve somewhere over 3 million customers, but we do it through 1.4 individual meters. Last year, we had a peak load of about 8,600 megawatts on the hottest moment of the hottest day. I think it was in July last year. And one of the things I want to note for you is we distribute electricity throughout Arizona. We're in 11 of 15 counties, which means we're from the heat down in the valley and down at the border to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. We go up the San Francisco peaks to Snowbowl. So we're providing electricity in a whole lot of different terrains, which makes it a very challenging thing to do. And 19% of this system that I've told you about is actually in areas that are deemed high risk for fire. So with that kind of laying the groundwork, I'm here to focus on what we do in wildfire mitigation. And you've seen this presentation over the last couple of years. I'm not going to go deep into it, but our multifaceted wildfire mitigation program has 5 primary pillars. One of them is focused on vegetation management. That's the bedrock of what we do and have done for years and years and years. And that's making sure our rights-of-ways are clear and that we're looking for hazard trees that might be outside our right-of-way, but could be dead or dying and could potentially fall into our infrastructure. So then we're working with landowners. That could be private landowners, it could be state and federal governments, but we are looking for those trees and working to clear them. We also are doing all kinds of grid hardening, ongoing distribution system upgrades. We're wrapping our poles with fire-resistant mesh wrapping to protect our wood poles. We consider ourselves a steel pole company, so where we can, we put in steel poles, but we can't do that everywhere. We have to be able to drive a truck to a steel pole for our linemen to access it and work on it. So in some places, that's just not possible, and we still have wood poles, and that's where we're starting to use this fire mesh fire mesh wrapping. We're also looking at our fuses and changing out fuses to fuses that have less risk of sparking. And then when they do spark, they have a housing to try to contain that. We're doing asset inspections on the lines that we consider high fire risk. And when I say high fire risk, we have about 230 some distribution feeders that we consider, of the 1,500 that we consider in high fire risk areas. Of those, we've done further risk analysis, and we have about 130 of those even ranked at a higher level for us. And those are our public safety power shutoff lines, which I will talk about in just a moment. So we're doing annual inspections on all those fire risk lines, looking for things that might have gotten broken during the winter, making sure we have them in as good of condition going into heightened fire times. We also have monitoring and awareness. I talked to you a little bit about this last year. These are our weather systems, these that we have placed on all of these high fire risk pole lines. And one thing I want to point out to you that I don't know that we've made as clear as we could have in past years, when we place weather monitoring equipment, and we've probably placed more in northern Arizona than any other agency, we are looking and monitoring weather specifically down a high risk line. We're not looking across a broad geographic area. We want to know what's happening on the line. What are the wind predictions on that line? What's the relative humidity on each of those lines? Because that's the data that we then use to make operational decisions. Cameras. I told you a little bit about our Pano AI cameras last year. These are cameras we've placed around northern Arizona. I think we have close to 40 of them in place now. We're hoping to have closer to 70 by the end of this summer. And these are cameras that are in high places, and they are scanning, using AI to scan for smoke and to alert both APS and local responders. And I think last year I told you about a success story out of Prescott. We actually have a success story right here in this community that I heard about over the weekend at Navajo County's Wildfire Symposium Expo. And that is, Fire Marshal Pepper told me about a start last week that was near the Summer Pines subdivision, and Timber Mesa was alerted, and they got on scene quickly and got that fire knocked down quickly. And he told me he had done some fire modeling of what it could have looked like, and it could have been pretty catastrophic for the Summer Pines subdivision. And if I got any of that wrong, I'm going to ask him to correct me when he comes up here in a few minutes. And then finally, operational mitigations. These are how we actually operate our system in light of the fact that it is in high fire risk areas and during high fire risk times. And that could be things like not letting our system automatically try to restore power when it's interrupted, because we do not want to do that during high fire risk when there could be a line on the ground or a tree in the line and it could cause a spark. But probably the one the program we started 3 years ago that we brought to the Show Low area last year that is probably of the highest interest is our Public Safety Power Shutoff program. And that last year we started with one of our feeders that comes out of our Show Low our substation. Now all the feeders that we have serving the Show Low community have been identified through risk modeling as Public Safety Power Shutoff feeders. What does that mean? Public safety power shutoffs, they're a tool we use when the weather conditions are at their most extreme. And those are the wind conditions I talked about that we're using our weather stations along the lines to monitor. It's conditions such as relative humidity. It's what would happen in a specific area if something sparked during these high wind, low relative humidity conditions. What direction is the wind blowing? Those are the kinds of indices that we are tracking through our fire mitigation team. And on that team, we have about almost 20 people on that team now. We've got meteorologists, fire scientists, former wildland firefighters, and that's the group that's helping us make operational decisions, especially around this program. If we see conditions reach the point where we think they're above our critical threshold, which is a composite score of all these different indices, then we may choose to turn power off proactively for a period of time to try to help keep a community safe. And that's from not necessarily about our infrastructure breaking, that's a piece of it because of the wind, but it also could be a trampoline into the line, it could be the roof off a shed into the line, it could be outdoor patio furniture into the line. We've seen all of that during high winds at some point somewhere in the state. Again, these outages would be we would be able to give advance notice and they'd be based on weather conditions. If for some reason we find damage after an event is over and we go out and patrol, those are the things that need to happen before we restore power during one of these outages. But if we find damaged equipment, that could prolong an outage for some certain area. We used to say we thought these would last on average about 20 hours. We're backing off of that because we think they'll be 20 to 24 hours, but we're learning. We just called our first PSPS event last week or 2 weeks ago. That's why I wasn't able to join you. We were prepping for that on a Tuesday, knowing that we would probably have to call it the next day. So one thing I do want you to know is we will communicate in advance to the best of our ability. We think in some cases we may be able to give up to 4 days notice, but that is up to 4 days notice. What we found in the event that impacted areas in and around Flagstaff 2 weeks ago is we ended up with about 24 hours of notice for our customers. What happened is we were tracking a windstorm, wind conditions that looked like a typical normal blustery April day east of Flagstaff. And overnight, Monday night, we saw our wind predictions on some of our lines go up rapidly, dramatically, and the relative humidity drop on those same lines. And those two things combined with other conditions like location of where the lines were, the fuel loading around those lines, the direction the wind was blowing, those things all pushed for about 6 of our lines. They pushed them above the critical threshold, and we did make the decision to call a PSPS event. What we found, not all customers have paid attention to the outreach we've been doing for 3 years, so we're going to ramp that up. But what we did find was understanding of the program, why we need to do it, our commitment to keeping communities safe, and we also found some keyboard warriors that have made my life tough since then, but that's okay, we're dealing with that. The other thing I want you to know is how do we determine what these lines, how we identify these lines as public safety power shutoffs? Our fire mitigation team is doing constant risk analysis. They're using fire modeling, they're using weather modeling, and some of the things that go into it are wildland urban interface, how much fuel is in an area, what direction does the wind normally blow, is a line is a line where there's a lot of concrete and asphalt. All of that is scored, and then we end up with our lines that we've identified as public safety power shutoff lines. When we determine a line as a public safety power shutoff line, we start with the whole line, from where it comes out of our substation to where it ends. Then we start looking at, okay, what's along different sections of the line? Are there areas that we can peel customers off and keep them energized if we decide to turn that line on? What area of the line are we most concerned about? Here in Show Low, what we found is there's a lot of vegetation right near our substation. It goes through some highly vegetated areas, narrow easements, lots of fuel around it. So in Show Low, there are not a lot of opportunities for us to peel customers off. So if we do get to a situation where the weather says on these Show Low lines we need to turn them off, it will have a broad impact across our service area in the community. One of the things that people often don't understand is I've got underground lines where I live. How in the world can I be impacted? And it really, again, goes back to what's upstream from or downstream from that line, closer to the substation, and are there areas the overhead lines feeding your neighborhood, are they in areas that we're highly concerned about? So that's really kind of how we determine which areas. And then here in Show Low, it's basically most of the area we serve. This is a map. This is our customer resource map. It's at aps.com/PSPS. This is a map where customers can go and see and put in their address and see if their address falls into one of these shaded areas. So I wanted to show this to you so that you have a sense of where it really is everywhere we serve in the Show Low area that could be impacted. With that, I will pause and see if there are any questions. And if not, I will thank you very much for your time again this year.
Anybody got any questions? No, but thank you for coming up here each year and telling us what's going on out there. I understand you guys took a lot of heat in Flagstaff. Of course, we don't know the whole story, but we do appreciate what you're doing in our community for sure, Janet.
Well, thank you. And also know that if there are opportunities, I know via, maybe it's your TV show, Mayor, any other opportunities with the city, we're tuned in with Grace, and we will take those opportunities and work with the city, the fire department, to educate customers in the area.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All righty, next item on the agenda is Navajo County Annual Wildfire Outlook and Preparedness Presentation. Kat. I'm sorry, Katrina. Okay. It was too late, right?
Good evening, Mayor, and you're always welcome to call me Kat. I'll answer to both. Thank you for having me again this year. As Janet said, we kind of like to do this road show every year, so here we are again, and I brought friends. Thank you for having us. So let's get into it. Wildfire season, it's kind of here, right? So this is the graphic that I like to show you guys. Kind of shows the progression of what the significant potential for wildfire is, and I stress the word potential. You can see May and June look awful lot alike. It's up north of us in Utah and Colorado that creeps up in June. And then in July, when monsoons kind of hit, the wildfire season kind of progresses on its way out. So what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at some more of the factors. Drought. So this is a map that tells a big story. The drought impacts map for this year is the one on the left with lots of beige, a little bit of orange and yellow. The one on the right has a lot of red and burgundy. Those are the colors we don't want to see. That was last year. Drought plays an important role in wildfire preparedness and outlooks that we look at because of how dry the fuel is, right? We know that. It's pretty basic. Okay, this one. This one's new this year. You haven't seen this one. This is a little statistics for you. For the last 5-ish years, the list of wildfires, the number of fires, and the number of acres burned each fire for that year. The key number I want you to look at is the one on the left, the percent of human caused. 70% of those fires on every single one were human caused. That means they were 70% of those fires that could have been prevented, period. Okay, here's the big question, right? Everybody keeps asking. We get a lot of, like Janet said, keyboard warriors. Why aren't we in restrictions? It's so dry. Yes, we recognize the fact that this time of year it starts getting drier and drier, but we also take extra precautions and we meet on a weekly basis with the White Mountain Fire Coordination Group. We've been doing this for about a month and a half-ish. That group, just to refresh your memory, is made up of Forest Service, Arizona State Forestry and Fire Management, BLM, BIA, Fort Apache Agency, The 2 county emergency management agencies, myself and Heather Yamas from Apache County. Then we have a representative from NAFCA, the Northeastern Arizona Fire Chiefs Association, and a representative from the Police Chiefs Association. Together, we review reports from weather, Forest Service, forest conditions reports, as well as other indices, including the number of starts. I am happy to report that the number of starts has been really low. So far, so good. Knock on wood. But they again have been human starts. We had a couple of lightnings, but most have been human. So again, 100% preventable. So when we start seeing those indices and analytics change to more severe criteria, that's when we will recommend to you to implement, and our Board of Supervisors and everyone else that has a jurisdiction of authority to go into those fire restrictions. So, what do restrictions mean? Well, it means prohibiting certain activities either on your private property, in your backyard, or on the forest, or on state land, or wherever those restrictions are implemented. We're restricting human behaviors to try and prevent those behaviors. So far, so good. Again, we could always do better, and we always strive to do better. But we want to stress, and I think we try to do this every year too, that restrictions apply to absolutely everyone. Those that live here full-time or part-time, those that are visiting and live here for 5 minutes. It's kind of like your seatbelt, right? Seatbelt laws apply to everybody. You have to wear it. You have to follow the fire restriction codes, no matter where you are from, where you live, or what you do for work. They apply to absolutely everybody. All right. So here's the big question. What can you do to help them be able to not have to respond to so many fires, right? Ready, set, go. We've talked about it. You know it. I know it. Let's make sure everybody else knows it. Have a kit. This past weekend, we were fortunate to have donations from our local Lowe's and Home Depot stores of totes to start people off on getting their kits ready. So we were able to distribute about 120 totes. Sign up for alerts. If you're not already on our Ready Alert system, please go on the website, sign up. It takes about 5 minutes. You can customize it to your liking. Making sure your property is defensible, creating a fire-wise property, having a plan, talking to your family, your neighbors, your kids, making sure they understand what your plan is. Making sure you're planning those financial and important personal documents is part of your plan. And then finally, don't forget the pets. Please prepare for your pets. Have your ownership papers, a picture of you and your pet, a couple of pieces of food or snacks and blankets and toys that they like. Have that prepared for them as well. Set, that means there's something going on. You're hearing some things. Get that kit loaded up in the car, at the very least by the door. Keep up to date with vetted sources of information. That's whether that's the city, the sheriff's office, the police department, the fire department, emergency management. Make sure it's a vetted source of information, not your auntie's cousin's uncle from way back told me and I heard. Anytime I see I heard, that's a big red flag. Not sure if you're going to have enough time to evacuate. There's no harm in leaving early. We won't hold it against you. Go ahead and leave early, especially if you have livestock or if you have mobility issues. By all means, make sure that you're doing it safely because go means go. Evacuate now. You may not get another chance. We may not get multiple chances to send alerts or even go door to door. We may be on loudspeakers. So follow the directions you're given. It might be different routes than you're used to, whatever. But make sure that you go when we tell you it's time to go. Okay. Couple of places where you can get more information. The Sheriff's Office app is back online. And then, of course, the alert system sign up QR code. Please take a second if you haven't already done so. Give those a screenshot. There is also an app for the city of Show Low, which we love because they share the same information, and we coordinate that with Grace and her team here with the city. So they are an invaluable partner with that information piece, and we couldn't do it without them. Help prevent forest fires. Help prevent backyard fires. Last year, all the fires were on private property. We had a ember from a charcoal grill on a back porch. Get away from them. Whole house is gone. Mother's Day grilling, is it worth a house to have a barbecue with charcoal? I don't think so, but that's me. Use some propane grills, something safe that's got a URL that you can turn off and on. Don't drag your chains. Make sure that if you're towing something, lift those chains up. There's little devices that you can hang those chains on. It makes it easy. Maintain your vehicle tires. We see this one a lot where you get a blowout, the rim hits, causes a spark, and we're off. Engines, brakes, everything. If you are doing a debris burn legally with a permit, right, JD? Okay. Make sure that you stay with it at all times, and you completely extinguish it when you're done. If it's allowed and it's a good burn day. There's a lot of caveats with that burn-in. All right. Defense is the best offense. This graphic will show you the progression of how far out we want you to go to protect your property. And it's not just about your property, it's your neighbors as well and your neighborhood to protect your entire community. I'm gonna let JD talk about that one a little more. And it's now his turn.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, council members. First off, thank you for the opportunity to come up here and speak tonight. It's always a pleasure. I don't get to do this too much. Chief Chevalier, unfortunately, was unable to be here. He had some prayer engagements. He's been pretty busy over Washington, D.C. and doing a lot of stuff representing Arizona and our community. So wanted me to pass that along. First off, Timber Mesa is staffed and ready to respond to wildfire events or incidents in our area. The APS representative came up here and spoke about the Pano cameras. The Pano cameras is an AI, artificial intelligence generated 360-degree camera that are strategically placed across much of the rim country. Every day when I go to work, kind of sun starts coming up, we get notices across this rim country. A lot of times those areas are they're areas that are normally like sometimes out here at the Dirty Deeds Green Waste site. Burns out there, it picks that up. Well, we know, okay, that's normal activity for out there. Some areas out Snowflake, we kind of know, looking at the camera picture is really clear. We're looking at it like, oh, that guy burns out there, and so on and so forth. Last Monday at 8:32 in the morning, I was in my office. Panel kicks out. You take a look at it, and I was like, oh wow, hey, that's not an area that I noticed, and it's here locally at Show Low. And so I immediately said to Chief Chevalier, I said, hey, take a look at this. And he's looking at it. And he says, yeah, well, let's jump on that. I got a hold of the battalion chief that was on duty. At the same time, the operations chief, Tabor Heisler, was looking at the same incident on his phone. So this is live, real-time information that we're getting from this stuff. And he is doing the same thing, right? And let's see, it was 8:32 when they came out. I think I arrived on scene at 8:43 is when I located the fire. Using the camera information and the mapping technology that was there, we located at the southeast corner of Summer Pines on the Forest Service. It's human caused. There was nothing out there to cause that. Just for information from some of the neighborhood residents, I can tell you it was human caused. Not my investigation area, it was the Forest Service, so they went out and did that. However, the importance of that was that day, on that Monday, we were getting 35-mile-an-hour winds at about 10 o'clock, I think is when those came in. And this happened, we didn't receive any 911 calls. This was all premeditated or basically from that information we received from the technology out of those cameras. So I can't say enough about that. Again, we are staffed and ready to roll on the wildfire incidents here. We've been really good this year. Last year, we were already in restrictions in February. I think February 28th, I think it was the day. This year, we've been able to forego that, and that's because of our actual rainfall. Our annual rainfall up until about 2 weeks ago was 4 inches above average. Whether a lot of, we correlate our snowpack. That snowpack is for folks downrange, really, the watershed, and obviously it helps our groundwater situation up here. But the rainfall has kept us out of the fire danger, really, so to speak. However, that's quickly changing. Today we got a good another reprieve. We get rain like this, it probably staves off that restriction time for maybe another week, I would say. So that's all good news on that front. What can we do? Again, we preach this message every year. What can we do for our homes? Defensible space, cleaning up the fuels out of your yards. Your businesses are probably the largest thing that you can do right now to give your home or your business a better chance of surviving a wildfire. And again, wildfires don't just happen, just don't start out in the forest. They start right here in our community. We're overgrown. We've gone out and done basal scoring. We're getting ready to go do basal scoring tomorrow on another 60 acres or 160 acres, something like that tomorrow. And I can tell you right now that there's areas that we're going to go into tomorrow that are probably 3 times the amount of vegetation that they should have because we have stopped fires from doing what they're supposed to do, right? So again, defensible space on your home, is probably the most important aspect of getting your home survivability. Let's see, anything else? The U.S. Forest Service Fire Prevention and Education Team will be arriving here. They assist us in this area. They assist Timber Mesa and Navajo County Emergency Management, the other fire agencies in the area. They'll be housed at Timber Mesa as far as where we have our daily briefings. They help us distribute the message to the public, getting that message out there to them about fire prevention, as well as the restrictions so that we're all on a coordinated message. And this is what's going out to the public. And the last thing I will say is, some of you know in my previous life what I did. It's hard to take the patrol officer out of myself. And what I've brought to Timber Mesa is some proactive measures for not only the panel cameras. I'm not going to take credit for that. It's not mine. It's really cool, but it's not mine. But we had a drone that was sitting in a closet for about 3 years. It was unused, and I said to my captain guy, "Hey, you want to be a pilot?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." So, which is really cool. And he became a pilot for the drone. And so we during restrictions, we fly night missions. At night, I don't have a better word for it, but we do patrol work in the air with the drone, and it's flying all around our district looking for folks that are having illegal fires, whether it's an Airbnb renter, somebody in one of the campgrounds, or somebody just on the outskirts of town, say up in the Joe Tank area or in the spillway over here at the lake. We were flying all those areas last year, and I know we kept Show Low PD pretty busy with writing citations. It's going to happen probably really soon. Well, as soon as we go into restrictions, we're going to do it again. Anyways, that's what we're doing. We're ready to support our partners in the area, and we just thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, JD. Has anybody got any questions for JD? Thank you. Appreciate it. Chief, you're not going to say anything, or sorry, did I wake you? Sorry.
I'm certainly not a fire expert, but thanks for the opportunity, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Thanks for having us tonight. As you can see, we have a very capable, competent team. They're rock stars. The region is blessed to work so unified and closely with our local, state, federal, and tribal partners, both in law enforcement and fire. And if something kicks off, we're ready to rock and roll and put our action plans into play and get people out of here safely in a coordinated manner. And that's kind of our role, is working with fire and our county partners to do that. Later in this meeting, we'll be presenting the Navajo County Community Wildfire Protection Plan for your approval that's related to the information that Kat just presented, so.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Kat, were you done? Thank you very much for coming tonight. Appreciate it. We'll see you, let's hope we don't see you again till the end of the season. Because if we see you any sooner, that means we're going into restrictions. Here we go. Anyway, thank you guys very much, JD. Appreciate you coming tonight. All righty, we're moving right along. Next item on the agenda is consent calendar. Item C, we're going to go ahead and pull. But I'll look for a motion proclaiming by the mayor, proclamation by the mayor proclaiming May 9th through the 16th, 2026 as Apache Cultural Week, consideration of acceptance of manhole replacement, City of Show Low project number 7552680. Turn the page. Consideration of approval of commercial operating agreement with Kelly Aviation, consideration of the minutes of the Show Low City Council meeting, the budget town hall and study session on April 16th, 2026, also the regular meeting and also on April 21st, 2026. You're turning the motion to accept consent calendar is read unless somebody wants to pull something. Councilman Adams.
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Got a motion, need a second? Got a second by Councilman Whipple. All those in favor? All those opposed, motion passed unanimously. Okay, next item on the agenda is under new business, consideration of adoption of the 2026 Navajo County Community Wildfire Protection Plan.
I'm back.
You're back.
Okay. This one's a long time in coming. We've been operating off of the 2016 plan. At that time, we actually had two separate plans, the Sitgreaves and the Central Community Wildfire Protection Plans. This couple of years ago, we decided we needed to go ahead and update so that we didn't have our plan expire. Fortunately, Chief Morgan was willing to pick up and be the chair for me because I was also at the same time, you might recall, working on the multi-jurisdiction hazard mitigation plan. So they kind of work together. They're both about mitigation. How are we going to prevent wildfires? How are we going to prevent disasters? So they are a little bit related, but I had my hands full. Then once we got to a certain place where we got the hazard mitigation passed and adopted by FEMA, woohoo! It was time to really finish up strong with the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. And I brought Chief up here with me. He was one of the finishing members. Chief Provost was on the plan for the majority of it. We had, again, all of the partners in play, Forest Service, DFFM, everybody that we just mentioned in the last presentation were at the table at this one. So what this plan does is helps us able to write grants to do that mitigation work because it costs money. It's not cheap. We're calculating around $2,500 to $3,000 per acre to do mitigation work, depending on the trees, the amount of trees, the type of trees, and the hazards. So we want to make sure that our communities are best set up to get those grants. And that's what this plan will help give us a base to do. So we will be able to apply with the state and the feds for those mitigation dollars. So with that, I'll stop talking. Do you have anything you want to add?
Just read that, Kat.
Oh.
That last sentence.
Staff recommends adopting the 2026 Navajo County Community Wildfire Protection Plan. I'll answer any questions you might have first.
That was a good one, Chief.
Yep, no, I got it. Kat's a rock star. I can't outdo anything.
Do you have any questions? Anybody have any questions, comments? Vice Mayor?
I move to adopt the 2026 Navajo County Community Wildfire Protection Plan.
I got a motion. I got a second by Councilman Adams. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Now
all.
you're done.
Now I'm done. Now get out of your hair.
Thank you, Kat. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
All righty, next item on the agenda is a public hearing and consideration of ordinance number 2026-03, amending zoning ordinance of of the city, amending zoning map, changing zoning on APN 212-11-102A from AR 43 times single-family residential manufactured home excluding 4,300 square feet to planned unit development on property identified as APN 212-11-102A submitted by that person incorporated. Not even going to touch that, sorry. Mr. Tregaskis.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Some background on this item. At its regular meeting of April 28, 2026, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 7-0 to approve the zone change request submitted by Espiritu Loci Incorporated for property described as APN 212-11-102A. Subject to specified conditions from AR 43X, which is single-family residential manufactured homes excluded 43,000 square feet, to PUD or planned unit development. The subject property is the southern portion of the recently approved preliminary plat of Water's Edge and is within the Show Low Lake Master Plan. The City Council approved the master plan through ordinance number 2010-03, so it goes back a little while, on February 16th of 2010. This subject property was recently annexed into the city of Show Low from Pine Top Lakeside. The preliminary plat for Water's Edge was approved by the City Council on February 17th, 2026. Staff notified property owners within 300 feet of the subject property regarding this preliminary plat application and City Council meeting date in accordance with Condition 12 of Ordinance Number 2010-03. Water's Edge covers approximately 47.81 acres that encompasses a total of 62 residential lots. Subject property contains 6.5 of the 62 residential lots. Minimum lot size is set at 10,000 square feet with an average lot size specified as 0.55 acres or 23,958 square feet, plus or minus. The plans for this development include private gated access roads. All residences constructed will be site-built homes. The plat requires the dedication of a public access trail and a 50-foot open space buffer along the western boundary. A zone change for the property will be required to allow the lot sizes indicated for this portion of the project as proposed. As required by City Code for zone changes, the applicant held a neighborhood meeting on March 23, 2026, and had 0 attendance from the invited surrounding property owners. The conceptual layout of the property has been supplied by the applicant and is included in the packet for review. If approved, this property would become part of the Show Low Lake PUD and would be subject to all conditions of approval as outlined in Ordinance Number 2010-03. The conditions of approval as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission are all development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, and development of the subject property shall comply with conditions of approval outlined in Ordinance Number 2010-03, including the 50-foot buffer and public access trail. With that, staff as well as the applicant are available for questions.
Thank you. Before I bring it to the council, I'm going to open it up for public hearing. Anybody from the public? Seeing nobody sprint up here, I'll close the public hearing and turn it back to the council for questions, comments. Anybody got any questions or motions?
Make a motion.
Councilman Adams.
I move to adopt.
Oh, sorry. City Clerk, read the ordinance since all council members have a copy. That was on here. He rushed me. So that was his fault.
Sorry.
Sorry, Councilman Adams. City of Show Low Ordinance Number 2026-03, an ordinance of the Mayor and Council of the City of Show Low, Arizona, amending the zoning ordinance of the city, amending the zoning map, changing the zoning on assessor parcel number 212-11-102A from AR-43X, single-family residential, manufactured homes excluded, 43,000 square feet to PUD, plan unit development submitted by Espiritu Loci Incorporated. Thank you.
See, I couldn't do that either. Councilman Adams.
Move to adopt ordinance number 2026-03.
Got a motion? Need a second? Second by Councilman Judd. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed, motion passed unanimously. Can you tell us how you say your name? Okay, good. I wasn't going to try, so sorry. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Smith?
Huh?
Did you say Smith?
Smith? No. All righty, next item on the agenda, consideration of award of additional well 10 repairs, City of Show Low project number W1821J05. Mr. Austin, I thought you left. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mr. Mayor and Council, on January 19th, 2021, the City Council approved a job order contract with 3 well service companies to provide labor and furnish and install materials for the repair and maintenance of water wells and existing water facilities at various locations. The 3 companies are Willis Drilling and Pump, Beeman Drilling through Mountaintop Development, Weber Water Resource, JOC streamlined the procurement of all repair and replacement services, saving several weeks in the procurement process for each project. As repairs arise, the work is competitively bid among the 3 JOC contractors on the city's JOC roster. On October 31st, 2025, Willis Drilling and Pump was awarded the job order contract for well 10 repairs, including labor to pull the pump from the well, to brush and bale the well with liquid acid for 3 sessions, installation of a new pump equipment, programming and testing it in the amount of $85,190.92. During the camera scan of the well, it was discovered that the well was filled with approximately 80 feet of silica sand. Willis Drilling and Pump submitted a change order to switch to blowing out silica and scale using a rotary drill rig. A lot of reading. and an air compressor. The change order included hours traveled, labor to set up the rotary drill rig over the hole, removing the drill rod, and installing a side air jet tool to clean scale from the casing for a full length of the well. After multiple passes, more silica started entering the well. The drill rod was removed and the crew ran tools downhole to blow out the remaining silica at the bottom of the well, at the bottom of the hole. The rig was broken down and removed from the well site. The camera was ran down the hole and it was discovered that the acid used had not removed any of the bacteria. Staff met with a well rehabilitation representative and provided the water quality information from well 10 and newly recorded footage. He indicated that the acid type used was ineffective, and it's been an acid we've used for 12 years since I've been here. And the acid use is ineffective and recommended a new biocide acid along with a remediation plan for biocide use. On March 24th, 2026, Willis Drilling and Pump submitted another change order for 4 treatments of the WaterSolve BC bioremediation, including installation, pumping, and or airlift of the WaterSolve from the well, plus materials perform a well scan to confirm the depths of the patches before and after patching. Travel time and labor, place 2 foot by 4 foot steel patch to cover both holes in the casing at 443 feet. Upgrade to a stainless steel patch and sales tax in the amount of $59,232.29. Staff recommends awarding additional well 10 repairs. City of Show Low project number W1821J job order 15 to Willis Management Enterprises Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $59,232.29.
I have a question.
I figured.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, I mean, like everything else, how long do you keep putting money in wells? How old is this well?
Last time we pulled this well was 12 years ago. It was the very first well I did when I came here.
So that's a pretty cheap repair.
Yes.
But what was the additional? How much have we put into this well?
None.
None.
For 12 years.
Wow, okay. Forget the other question about when do we get rid of wells, but never mind.
This well is a very good well. It's just the bacteria, the iron bacteria that grows in these wells have changed somehow. So we sent all of our results, water results and camera filmage and everything to like a water chemist. And he went through it and recommended this treatment.
Okay. Vice Mayor, do you have a question?
I was going to make a motion if nobody has.
Anybody have any questions? No questions? Go ahead.
I move to award the additional well 10 repair City of Shiloh project number W1821, job order 15 to Willis Management Enterprises Incorporated, DBA Willis Drilling and Pump under job order contract W1821 in an amount not to exceed $59,232.29.
Got a motion, I'll go ahead and second it. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed, motion passed unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Rick, which one is well 10?
It's over in Torion, right behind Buffalo Bills.
All righty, next item on the agenda is consideration of award of aquatic center parking lot expansion, City of Shiloh project number 445268 for Mr. Reed.
Just a little background on the project. The city's 2026 fiscal year budget includes a capital improvement project labeled City Parks, Streets and Trails Makeover, Aquatic Center Parking Lot Expansion, with a construction budget of $196,965. The scope of the work includes 470 tons of AC paving, 550 cubic yards of aggregate base, grading, parking striping, and related improvements. The project was designed by city engineering staff with an engineer's estimate of $183,700. The project was advertised for bids per statutory requirements, and 2 bids were received. Staff recommends awarding the construction contract for the Aquatic Center Parking Lot Expansion Project, City of Shiloh project number 4452684 to Perkins Cinders Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $167,301.92. The agreement will be drafted using a standard city contract.
I got it. So all the work that city staff has done doesn't include what they're going to finish, right? I mean, we did all the prep work. It seems like we did all the grading, didn't we?
We did. We did some of the perimeter concrete work as well, some of the underground utility work that you can't see in anticipation of outsourcing the paving in the base.
So that price is just for they don't grade nothing, they just come in and put some base down and asphalt?
No, in the contract, we have them preparing the subgrade, so they'll go out and smooth what's out there and prepare it to meet spec.
Any other questions? Vice Mayor?
Will this be done by July 4th?
It should.
Should?
It should.
Wait a minute. I could have answered her. Should.
The only caveat, of course, is weather. The monsoons kick in here in a few weeks, and that tends to prolong some of these paving projects that we do. But we're going to do our best to have it done by
Get
then.
some pavers down, if not, something. Anybody else? Any other questions? Vice Mayor?
I move to award the construction contract for the Aquatic Center Parking Lot Expansion, City of Shiloh project number 4452684 to Perkins Cinders Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $167,301.92.
Got a motion? Got a second by Councilman Hatch. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Hey, can you tell them that we need it done before 4th of July, please? Next item on the agenda is consideration of approval to purchase bear-resistant garbage carts with Shiloh Council contingency funds. Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. In 2025, over 350 bear complaints were received within the city, and the Game and Fish data predict an increase in bear activity this year. Unsecured garbage is a leading attractant drawing bears into neighborhoods, creating safety concerns, property damage, and risk to wildlife. On April 21st, 2026, the City Council approved the acceptance of $130,000 in Game and Fish Heritage Grant Program funds to purchase bear-resistant garbage cans. The grant funds will reduce human-bear conflicts by deploying approximately 400 certified bear-resistant containers in high-incident areas and educating residents on proper waste management. The city will collaborate with the Arizona Game and Fish and local waste services contractor to track incidents and measure success. Providing additional bear-resistant cards will further help reduce attractants, improve public safety, and support the city's wildlife existence goals. Staff is requesting the approval to use City Council's contingency funds in an amount not to exceed $350,000 to purchase approximately 1,000 additional bear-resistant trash cans. Available for any questions.
Councilman Judd.
Good question. Who bought the previous garbage cans? Does that make sense? So we're buying the new ones. Who purchased the old ones?
So the regular can and the recycled cans are provided as part of the contract with Waste Management.
Okay, so
the city did not purchase those. They're owned by the Waste Management.
Okay, so we'll have to purchase these in addition to the ones we have.
We don't have any currently. Those are purchased by Waste Management.
Okay, so they own them.
Yeah.
We'll own these.
That's correct.
So if they need to be replaced, we've got to do it.
Yeah.
Waste Management.
Yeah. There are a lot of logistics that are going to go into this. Before we start getting deep into the weeds on the planning and who's going to get them and all that, we need to know how many we're going to be able to purchase. And that's why we provided the map that was generated through our dispatch center that shows where the call concentrations were at. There's a few areas, Hacienda Pines, Torreon, Sierra Pines, Country Club subdivision. There are a lot of areas that had bear calls, so we're going to have to work closely with Game and Fish and Dispatch and Waste Management to try and put a plan together for this.
Okay, so I called in one of those bears. So I had one in my neighborhood, but we don't have a bear problem where I live. I'm sure you do, and I'm sure Councilman Whipple, I know he does. And so my question is, since there's $350 a piece, can we do less? Like, could we do something that's more like east of Central, your neighborhood around Bison, Torreon, Sierra Pines? Those are the problem areas. But honestly, you don't need to spend the $350 on me. I'm good. I've been here 20 years and never had a bear problem.
So the grant's going to get us about 400. We would get an additional 1,000 to 1,100 if we used the full contingency amount. I think there are about 700 homes in Torreon. Not sure about Sierra Pines, and then not sure about Country Club. We're working with GIS to compile those numbers, but I think just those three neighborhoods would use the full amount.
Okay. So what if we do a per request? Could we do that? So obviously we know some people that do, and there's some neighborhoods that would need them right away.
Yeah, that's an option. The study that the Game and Fish did with the city of Durango, they kind of had to do blocks of areas because if you request one and your neighbor doesn't, then they may just bypass you and go next door and get one, and that doesn't really deter the bears. They'll just come back. So we're trying to designate a specific larger area where they know they tried 10 cans, then they're going to move on to a different area.
So this $350,000, that only puts a dent. We're thinking that doesn't do half the town?
It'll do less than half. We have about 6,500 cans, and that'll get you about 1,500. But we agree with you. We don't think everybody needs one. There are some high concentration areas that do need them, and 400 probably won't be enough to accomplish what we're trying to do.
Okay.
Can we ask for some help from the residents of the house?
Yeah, we've been working on that. Chuck Buffington, our community action officer, reached out to several of the HOAs, so we're working through that, and there is some interest to purchase. Then it just becomes a logistical issue because now you have Waste Management's cans, You have the city of Show Low's cans and then you have the property owner's cans. So who manages all that and who replaces them when they're broken or stolen or damaged? So it is a possibility, but we're gonna have to work through that and see what the plan is.
So the contract's with Waste Management, correct?
Yes.
So they service Torion, Sierra Pines, Country Club Manor.
They do with the regular cans. There's nothing, no provisions for the bear-resistant containers in the current contract.
I understand that. Can they set that provision in the contract with that? Here, if you're living Torion, you don't want a bear in your can, it's $300.
Yeah.
We'll get you the can.
That's probably a question for legal. I'm not sure how we would deal with that, but yeah, we're willing to look at all options. We're just trying to figure out how many cans we can purchase and then try to make a plan based on that number. So.
And just since I saw this coming up, I asked some people in Torion, Sierra Pines. Some of them said they haven't had any problems. Some do. So there's no question there's a problem. And what they're telling me is that there's about a 3-week period where it gets pretty bad. Some of them are putting kind of bungee cords over it, and that solves the problem. Most people a couple of people are saying they don't bring their cans out of the garage until the day of, and that kind of solves the problem. But my thinking is, since it's council contingency, if this was on a regular budget, that might be a different story. But Mayor talked about the bathrooms. Since our last meeting, I've been at Show Park, gone in the bathrooms 4 times, and we've got the same problem there as we do at the splash bed. And I would love to see at least some of the council contingency to go towards those bathrooms to try and fix, maybe get some high flow toilets in there to solve it. I mean, it's over the years, I go to Show Park a lot, and it's just getting bad.
Yeah, so we put the full contingency in there just to provide the flexibility. It's certainly the council's discretion. You don't want to do any, or if you want to do a partial amount, or if you want to leave enough to do the restrooms. I think Mr. Hemisoth had quoted about $250,000 to do a complete demo of that restroom. There was a smaller number to do a remodel. So yeah, it's completely up to the council. Just, we saw it as an opportunity. We haven't utilized the discretionary funds much, or contingency funds. So thought it'd be an opportunity just to bring for the council for a decision.
So if I'm not mistaken, on that subject of the bathrooms, we still had some that we were putting in the budget to build a new one, correct?
Correct. We discussed that at the budget study session, and we're going to bring that back at the next meeting. But that's kind of in next year's budget. This contingency is.
True. Okay.
I went to the Frontier Park and looked at those bathrooms and had some ideas. Talked to Shane. I think we need to look into some better toilets, but I think there's some air issues with those getting air to the sewer system. So he's going to check in on that. I think there's some things that we can work on.
Yeah, Justin, I just have some question about what was it that triggered this project to kind of skip the CIP process? It seems like this would be something we would put in our CIP budget and go through that project. And then I agree with Councilman Hatch. It seems like this is something that more akin to waste management and game and fish issues than city-related issues. So I'm wondering kind of why this project leapfrogged everything else.
Yeah, it was the number of calls in 2025, and staff was approached by Game and Fish to go to a meeting, and that's when we were notified of the grant. So that's how it all came about. It wasn't something was even on our radar 2 years ago because it wasn't an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I personally feel that I think that this, I don't think that we should use the council contingency for this. I think if this is an issue, we put it on CIP, we go through the process, and we utilize the $130,000 grant we have and advocate with Game and Fish to do more, because essentially the bears are their property, right? Like if you go out and you poach a bear, they're going to cite you because you killed state property. It's like we need to get Game and Fish to deal with their issue and their problem with bears in our community. That's what we pay our taxes for, and that's what they've been designated by the state to do. And I think I agree that if individuals have a bear problem and they want a trash can like this, that we should
look at our contract with Waste Management to see, I mean, Waste Management is they're obviously, it's an economic opportunity for them to provide service for us, so we should put in that next contract. I don't know when that is, Anna, when the next, for how long? Was it 3 years or 5? Do you
I
know?
think it was 5 with some 1-year option for renewals, but I might be, it was up to 10. I don't remember what the renewal options were, but I'm pretty sure it was 5.
It seems like we should talk to them. We've been good customers, we're a good client, that this is it sounds like it's a problem that's developing. We should work with them to figure out how they can help solve some of these problems for their customers. I just don't think that this is something council should be dealing with at this point with council contingency. And I think that we have a process in place for this amount of money. There's a specific reason why we've done that. Put this on council contingency. I mean, I think I agree with Councilman Judd. I think I can go through the CIP that we approved back in December. And I think that there's items on the agenda that we took out from this budget that we're going to hear at the end of this month. And then also projects for 2028 that I would rather see moved up over purchasing trash cans and solving a problem for game and fish. So that's how I feel.
So that being said, the grant that we got, we can still use that, right?
Yeah, there's
No matter what.
pretty tight time restrictions on that. Like we have to purchase and take delivery and all that by the end of May to get all the stuff, all the paperwork into them and get reimbursed before the end of the year. Then I would just add on the council contingency. It's already rebudgeted for next year at 350. So typically we don't roll this 350 over into next year's budget, but there is 350,000 in next year's budget as well.
I just see it simply as that you're living in the mountains, right? You're living next to the National Forest. You have a service from Waste Management to come and pick up your trash. If you would not like a bearer to get in your trash, then we can facilitate that to not have that problem. I don't see where we as the city should pay for that at all for the residents, as harsh as that sounds, but that's just my feel on it. If you don't want a bear in your trash, then do the things to stop the bear getting in your trash.
So have we discussed the option with Waste Management where people can request an upgraded trash bin with an additional cost to them?
No, we haven't at this time. There are a lot of things, a lot of logistics that we need to work out, but the main point or the purpose of this discussion tonight is just get a feel from the council. You know, what the council wants to do, and we'll just work with that. Yep.
I just had a question. What are the normal trash cans that Waste Management provides that are, those the green lids and the blue lids? What do those cost?
They're about $90 a piece.
So we're looking at about a $200 and something difference between the two.
Yeah, that's correct.
For a lock?
Well, it's a little more than a lock. It's a pretty heavy duty. I would compare it from like a cheap Igloo cooler to a Yeti cooler. You can check it out. That's just my opinion, but yeah.
So it sounds like I don't think anybody wants to move on item E to me.
Okay.
You need us to deny it, or do we just?
Really not sure.
And I think that's a
Get the
question
grant
for you,
money?
'cause
Can
I
we
can,
still get
I
the
can move
grant
to
money?
deny it. If,
Yeah, we'll still get the.
no, not the grant money, just not to utilize council contingency money.
Take the grant money and
Yeah.
then if
Yeah, I think that's.
go to your hottest spots with the most calls, and that's who gets it. And then if you want more, then we'll figure out how to get you a can.
And I like what
Management.
Councilman Hatch is saying. I think that we should leverage our relationship with Waste Management to see if there's an opportunity there for them to provide bear cans for a reduced price or what, something like that. If they could, that's $90 for the green can and they could take that off. There's got to be some opportunity for us to work in a partnership, because it's to their benefit if their cans are getting destroyed by bears or those kind of things. So it seems like we have I know that we just renewed the contract with them, but it seems like we should renegotiate and maybe enter into some discussions with them to see what they can do, especially deploy the 400 that we got and go from there and develop a comprehensive plan on how we're going to move forward with dealing with this. But I don't know. Do you need us to deny this or just take? direction.
So to answer Councilman Clark's question, we have worked with Waste Management. These cans are normally about $450, the one on the end. They're giving it to us at a price of like, what's it, $260, $270?
It's 270-ish, and then there's a delivery and setup charge. Yeah.
Setup charge for maybe around $300. So they've already worked with us under reducing the price of those cans to get them cheaper. And the issue is really the Game and Fish is really concerned about the safety of the residents this year. There are going to be more bears in our neighborhoods. Now, there's ways to combat that. We can tell people, put your can inside your garage or something like that, but not everybody has a garage to do that. We can talk about, securing your cans better, but there is going to be problems with bears this year. There's no food in the forest. And we didn't find out about this till about March, is when we went to a meeting with Commander Westover and Ann and myself, and we were told that Show Low has one of the highest incidents in the state for bear encounters. So we're just trying to address the problem. If the council doesn't want to spend the contingency, that's fine, but the issue is the contingency, as he explained, doesn't roll over. So if you're going to use it for something else, that's okay, but we thought this would be a good way to use the contingency to kind of increase the amount of cans in those high incident areas and try to see if we can reduce the problem this year. So that's the purpose of why it was brought to you. In the future years, we can say it's something that maybe we need to put in the CIP as a capital improvement thing as we come forward in the coming years, and we can do that. But for this coming year, that's we didn't really have the budget for it, but we thought here's a way to use the council contingency to try to address this issue. Maybe we can look at some other things as far as looking at better, public information on how to deal with the bear issues as they come forward this year. But that's kind of the purpose of why this was brought. So just so the council's aware of that.
So what do we need, legal, to act on this?
I want to make a motion to not use contingency funds and maybe look at alternate ways or craft your motion.
Yeah, I can do it. I move to deny the purchase of bear-resistant garbage carts with council contingency funds in an amount not to exceed $350,000. And I would direct staff to work with Waste Management to maximize the $130,000 grant we got from Arizona Game and Fish to purchase the carts and work on the bear situation with our relationship with them and with Game and Fish.
Got a motion? Got a second by Councilman Hatch? All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? What was down there? Would you?
I voted for.
Okay, so the motion passed. 4-3, I believe. My adding's right. Thank you. And was that 130,000 or 190,000?
30.
130?
Yeah.
Okay.
The grant's 130.
130. Thank you. Appreciate it. And hopefully, let's see what happens in the future with these, like a trial basis. Anyway, next item on the agenda is summary of current events. Anybody down there? Councilman Hatch, you got anything? Councilman Adams? Oh, nobody. Councilman Whipple.
Just remind everyone that graduation is May 21st. There's going to be a lot of traffic on Old Linden, probably from about 4:30 till 8:30-ish. Just be aware of that. We congratulate the seniors on their accomplishments this year.
Thank you. The only thing I got really is to thank staff, council members for Friday, or not just for Friday for the city's anniversary, but for Saturday for our barbecue contest. We don't realize how spoiled we are until we have people from other communities come into our community. And man, these barbecue guys praised our staff like you wouldn't believe. Police officers there all the time, watching our staff cook hamburgers and hot dogs Friday. But it's pretty awesome, not just because we're sitting up here, but it is when you're sitting up here and you get people from we had people from Iowa, we had people from out of state even going, man, this is amazing what our staff does. But we can't thank Mikey and Lane and Rick and city manager. All the way down. We're spoiled. We're absolutely spoiled rotten when you hear about what happens in other communities. I'm going to go to another contest here in a couple of weeks in Boulder City, and the promoter called me tonight because he's heard about Show Low. saying, what do you guys got going on? I said, we got great staff. That's all there is to it. And unfortunately, he's running his by volunteers only, and we all know how that works. So hopefully he does well, but I just thank staff, man. It was a great weekend. God loves barbecue apparently because the weather held out even for Friday. So anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate it. City manager.
A few things, Mayor and Council. So just a few upcoming events. The Shoalo Main Street has their farmers market starting on May 16th from 9 to 1. And that's near the new areas near the Shoalo Library parking lot on 9th Street in Huning. That runs through September 19th. If you want more information, you can go to ShoaloMainStreet.org. There's a community ceremony for the National Police Week on May 15th at 6 p.m. at the Law Enforcement Memorial next to the City Hall. Everyone is invited to attend that event. Then we have our annual Shoalo Rodeo coming up on June 5th and 6th at the Linden Valley Arena. Friday will be events for the Junior Rodeo, and then on Saturday there'll be events for an open rodeo event, and the registration is now open for that. And then we also have the city's annual Project Clean Sweep coming up next week. Shoalo residents can dump green waste for free for 2 weeks at the new location at 2100 North 16th Street from May 11th to May 16th. Again, from May 18th to May 23rd from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Bulky item pickup will begin the week of Monday, June 1st, Friday, June 5th, and items should be placed in front of your residence next to the roadway by 7 a.m. Citizens can also haul debris for free to the Lone Pine Transfer Station from Monday, June 1st through Saturday, June 6th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can visit their website there for more information on the Project Clean Sweep. That's all I got.
Thank you. Seconds? Gee, you didn't go first.
I know.
Go ahead.
I was reading the city manager's memo from last Friday, and I just wanted to tag on to your comment about our staff and how wonderful they are. And comment on Steve North's efforts with economic development and everything that he's doing right now, and all the people that he's meeting with to try and bring business into our community. He's doing a phenomenal job, and I don't know how many staff he has. I don't think he has any, but he's doing a bang-up job. So,
Thank you. Anybody else want seconds since we're here? No? Schedule of meetings.
Just remind everyone that our next meeting has been moved to May 26th as our next regular city council meeting.
May 26th. Okay. Seeing no more business before this council, I adjourn this meeting.